And just like that, Magic World. It's Tom with Ryan. RBT.
It's Ryan.
What a good-looking dude this guy is. He hides behind his card profile picture, and it's like, dude, you're handsome as hell. Show that off.
Listen, man, I want to change. Thank you so much, by the way. No one's better. No one's more of a sex icon than you, Tom.
But I'm out of the game. Being an icon is an icon, but man, you could get free cards.
Well, so the funny thing, I guess we can start talking about my profile picture.
Yes, go ahead.
So everyone knows me by I'm the rated rookie Griffey. So he was the guy when I first got back into collecting. He was the guy who I collected the most. Just any, like I had like something around like 100 Griffies.
Wow.
And then I'd say about into, I don't know, a few months into collecting, I was like, you know what? These cards are like not worthless, but it's really tough. Like when you're on the Twitter and you got to keep up with the Joneses. You know what I mean?
Oh, you fell into the FOMO hole.
I did. And I really love basketball. That's my thing. So I kind of got rid of all my Griffies. I don't own one Griffey card. So for anyone watching this, I sold every Griffey card or traded every Griffey card I ever owned. But the profile pic has to stay the same because I feel like no one would know who I was if I changed it.
You want to hear some funny but messed up stories? You are aware that NFTs exist, right?
I am. I have no idea what they are. I have no idea. I've not even tried, but I know what they are.
So I know there's people that have these Bored Apes profile pictures. They own a little token on a blockchain that says this token represents that picture. Just to give a brief. People, those Bored Apes, some of them are dumb, and they give their information out to people, or they click on links that you shouldn't be clicking on, and they'll be like, "Oh no, someone stole my Bored Ape profile picture," which is worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So I have a question for you.
Real quick though, let me finish. People will be like, "Oh no, that's horrible," but since you don't own that ape anymore, you have to change your profile picture. So that's what reminds me of you. It's like, you don't own any Griffies anymore. You need to change your profile picture.
I did do that for a little bit. I don't know if you remember. I changed it to Jason Tatum because he's the guy who I collect the most now.
Yes.
And everyone was like, no. You have to change it back. You have to change it back. And I was like, I think I tweeted one day. I was like, does anyone like see my tweets anymore? Is the algorithm off? And someone's like, no, I forget that it's you. You only liked my content because you thought it was me, not because it was good content. Nice. So I changed it back. But
I understand. I was probably one of those people that was like, change it back. I hate new people.
That's what you said that. You were, that's exactly what you said. You said change it back. You're like, I hate the new profile picture. You said something funny. I remember you always said
I'm old. I need the pictures. I'm bad. Like I told you, I'm bad at names. I had to ask you what your name was.
It's okay. I think it says it right on my profile when you click on it.
See, that's how old and bad I am at everything.
No, that's okay.
Speaking of Jason Tatum, the most expensive card I ever sold was a BGS 9.5 Jason Tatum rookie Prism. The light blue that was from like the Asia edition to like 150.
Oh, wow.
It had like 9.5, 9.5, 10, 10 or something.
So it was almost pristine.
I sold that for like $1,000 last year and bought a whole bunch of Project 20 cards.
You sold this amazing Jason Tatum card that's super rare for
Keith
some Project 2020 cards.
The Keith Shore ones that were like, $300
those are
each.
good.
Yeah, the Mattingly, the Gibson, and the McGuire. Then they're down, but they're not down as like other.
They'll go back up. Like it's a unique. 2020 was a unique year for everyone in general, especially for collecting. So I like the Party set a lot. Like,
yes,
I remember I ended up selling my Acuna when it was at like a $90 or $80. Like, I'm not sure if they're still at that. I doubt it, but I just thought those are really cool. But I like the whole 2020 idea. That's just a very that's the one side of hobby Twitter, and the Jason Tatum is the other side, and the other, which is really funny. But
yeah, I thought it was funny. I was like, I'm going to bring that up. Like the best card I have ever owned was a Jason Tatum, and I sold it for cards that people think are just stupid and disgusting. But I love them, like Keith Shore and Alex Party. I've got all of his Keith Shore's last year. I'm going to get all of his this year, and I'm going to get all of Party's this year. And then I'm done. I'm like, I'm not going to – that – a 2-year plan to buy a card every month is annoying, so I'm not going to do that. So
right, because you kind of make yourself do it.
Yeah. So we just kind of jumped right in. We didn't really do introductions. That much. Everybody knows me. Tell us about yourself, Ryan.
All right. So my name is Ryan. I'm 23 years old. I live in Massachusetts. For work, I am a therapeutic mentor, which means, and I'm also a therapy support staff. So I work with therapists and I work one-on-one with kids to help them work on like applied behavior skills and stuff. It's pretty awesome, actually. The paperwork isn't great, but that's not great for any job. But the actual work you do it's really uplifting, and that's like a big thing in my life is I want to be a therapist. I'm going to go back to school soon, within the next year probably, to do that. But that's like my favorite job I've ever had. But let's see, what other things about me do you think people would want to know?
I'm going to piggyback. I used to work for a place called Griffith Center for Children, where I would audit therapy files that therapists would have dealing with children. And yes, you guys suck ass at paperwork.
Oh, we're
and not even like suck ass. Like I need to hit you in the face with a hammer because you are so bad at filling out this super simple form. But that is work that, you do so much great stuff to help the kids out. Mm-hmm. But then, you have to go back and you have to document and write down all this stuff. And you have to code it, and you have to make sure so insurance will cover it. But you have to do it, though, so the kid can get treatment paid for. So people want to know, who you are. You did that. They want to know what you like. Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics, probably
Red
some
Sox,
other terrible
Patriots.
Massachusetts teams. Yeah, yep. You hitting the nail on the head. Bruins. Yep. And they just want to know, like, what brought you back to cards? How did you start with cards? Okay. And then how did you get back in?
So when I was a kid, obviously I said I am from Massachusetts. I grew up here in Massachusetts. I've been here in New Hampshire for the past 6 or 7 years, but I've been living in mostly Massachusetts, where I'm trying to go with this. My dad is a Yankees fan. And there's a picture of me when I was a kid, when I was a baby, actually, of him putting a Yankees hat on me, and I was bawling my eyes.
You sound story. Just like Bella. Yash.
Yeah.
She's, her family's Red Sox, but her grandpa's the Yankees fan. So got that rivalry going. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, exactly. And so, my dad, I remember so this will all tie into the collecting and stuff where it started and how I left when I got back into it in a second. But I remember when I was 6 years old, that's when the Sox and the Yankees were playing in the championship series. And the one where, the Red Sox came back from down 3-0. My dad.
2004, right?
Yep. 2004. Yeah, I should have said 2004. Everyone knows whenever you hear the words 2004, everyone knows the first thing that comes in their head is Boston Red Sox. I think for everyone, honestly, for a lot of people.
No.
I could be totally I'm going to pretend.
Yes, pretend.
Well, around here at least, everyone is the person you think of. And my dad, would have me stay up with him at night to watch these games, because even as a Yankees fan, he was like, Ryan, you gotta watch this. Like, they're making history here, and I can't keep you from that. So
yeah,
that was a really unique thing to be at a young age to be introduced into sports, and that kind of made me fall in love with it. And my dad was a big card collector. He would buy these sets of junk wax, and he bought them to hold them because he thought they'd increase the
Beanie Baby. Yes.
So he did that too. He collected Beanie Babies, and I remember a couple of years ago, last year when I told him I got back into collecting, he was like, "So, did that 1993 top set? Did that I was like, "Well, not exactly. There's a good card in that entire set, so it went straight to the kids on Halloween." But so I guess I started collecting when I was between the ages of 7 and 12 or 14. And I remember that's when the cards I felt were more of especially the flagship tops for baseball and football. I don't want to say it was more of a kid's product, because it wasn't, but it felt like it was fun. The design was fun. Do you know which one I'm talking about, with all the bubbles around the letters and stuff? 08, 07 or 08 tops.
Oh no, I wasn't collecting then, so I don't have a good memory of that.
I just remember I liked the design of the cards. I started to get into basketball when I was around 13 or 14, and then I don't know what happened. I moved to a new house and I stopped. I just stopped collecting. I got more into video games.
Me too. Your hobbies kind of go in circles.
They do.
Which ones you like over the years. So yeah, I understand.
They do. That's kind of the beauty of them, right? Because there's no such thing as ending a hobby. You can always come back to it.
Yeah.
And so up till last year, I was, living in my apartment in New Hampshire, and I was watching YouTube one day, and I got a recommended video on my feed. It wasn't the card investor guy that everyone's probably thinking of. It wasn't, but it was who was it?
Was it Jabs? It's usually Jabs.
No, I love Jabs though. It wasn't Jabs. It was Pac-Man.
Okay.
And I watched the video. I'm like, oh, this stuff's kind of cool. Why am I playing Madden? This is just how I feel. And I'm sure a lot of people have felt this way. But why am I playing Madden Ultimate Team, spending money on fake players that, I'm just going to buy the game in a year and it's not going to matter?
Yeah.
When I could buy something, love it, keep it, trade it, sell it, do whatever I want. And that kind of got me into it. So I kind of stopped playing video games and I got into cards. And that's where I started going to that place in New Hampshire at Diamond King, where I would work. I worked at a local card shop for a little while.
Yep.
And the owner there is really nice. I haven't worked there in a little bit just because of all the personal stuff I've been sorting through. But that opened me up to the hobby completely. I remember what got me into, I would collect a bunch of rookies of guys that I had 40 or 50 Shohei Ohtani rookies, but I got them when they were $2 a pop.
Yeah, cheap.
And that was when
clean out your own dollar boxes.
That's what I was doing.
I'm sorting.
Yeah, I'm sorting. I to take all these for my work at the end of the day. So I remember the first big card I ever bought or traded for. And the guy who owns the store, if he sees something he knows he can sell to somebody, whether it's $2 or $200, he'll take it. He's not someone who's oh, if you want this big card, you have to trade me a big card. He's a different kind of shop owner. He's the opposite of the LCS owners you see people complain about on hobby Twitter. He's literally the most genuine, nice guy. He'll give kids free cards if they bring in their report card, one of those guys. So awesome. I traded a ton of cards that, they were good cards I have a green and yellow a green and yellow Luka Doncic rated rookie. That was the first big card I ever bought, and I was so proud of it. And that kind of got me into I might want kind of bigger cards now. Like this is what I want. So all my Otanis right at the peak at the All-Star breaks, I traded all of those for, I think I have the tie-dye LeBron I traded those for that, and I'd rather have the LeBron and the Otanis any day just because I can get those Otanis whenever I want now. And it also dipped completely after the All-Star break, which was crazy. But I'm back in it for good, I think, for at least a while. Something, if I have kids someday, I want to share that with them. I ended up selling my PS4. But I will tell anybody here, like the card, like the hobby, when you start getting into the bigger stuff and you start to, the FOMO, keep up with the Joneses, it starts to be more than a hobby sometimes. It's like almost an addiction.
Yeah. Do you want to go into that? Like,
yeah, we can go
how
into
that became like an issue, and
yeah,
you had to be like, this is crazy. Yeah, go ahead, tell your story.
Yeah,
man.
we can get into that. And I know that there's people on who's watching this or people who can relate to this, because I think, my pinned tweet on my profile, it will always say this way, is the one where I'm tweeting about how it can be an addiction, just because I think if someone reads it, it could be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm somebody who I think I can struggle with things like addictive personality. And I think having a hobby like cards is a very easy way to hide that addiction type of tendency, because it's like, oh, I'm collecting stuff. It's cool. I like it, but
yeah. Oh, I'm selling stuff while I'm buying stuff. So it's not that bad. Yeah.
Tom, the worst thing I think you can do, and this is what I am so prone to doing this, is, I could spend $300 on this card right here because, if I ever got in a pinch, I could sell my whole collection for $10,000 or $15,000, no problem. If you love your collection and your cards, like it would take me to be in a horrible position to sell these cards right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll do that unless I need to.
And then when you're desperate, you're not going to get anywhere near what you think it's worth anyway. It's like, I could sell it for $15,000, and you're going to get $6,000. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because if you go to a card store and you're like, I need to make this, because selling one by one, you might be able to make that back, but then with taxes and everything, if you go to a card store, say, okay, what can I get for all these? I value it at $15,000. I'll be like, I can give you like 8 or 9, like, because I need to make the money on it. That's a lot of cards to move, and I'm getting rid of a ton of money at once. So, that's a bad way to look at your investing or your collecting, is, you can get it all back in a second if you wanted to. So, yeah, because you can't.
No, you can't. And it's really is and you'll see people say that, only spend what you can afford to lose. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to buy a box of cards, it's going to rip, and you get a $2 auto. You need to look at even just buying normal cards, like you could buy your Luka, but in 3 years, it could be a $2 card, just because that's so crazy how this hobby works. Andrew Luck, can't miss Andrew Luck, hottest prospect ever for football. And, he retired, and now it's like cards that were thousands and thousands of dollars, just nothing. So yeah, sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
No, that's a great point you bring up. And that's something I've thought of, like, in the dip we've kind of experienced lately. I don't like my buddy Euphoric Cards. I love that account. Shout out to him. He's helped me with so many of my buys and my trades and the cards I've sold on here. I was talking to him about that, and he said it's not really a crash. It's just a correction. Mm-hmm. And I agree, because back in 2020, early 2021, especially, the hobby it peaked at a huge point because, people like me were getting back into it. There's huge allure to value. I'm not into stocks. I'm not into NFTs or anything like that. But cards and sports, like, that's a great way to get into investing,
Yeah, well, we also had the Trump bucks, then the Biden bucks, and then the documentary, The Last Dance, because there's no sports on. So that instantly kicked the nostalgia going, and people buying the old Jordans. And then, hey, we have limited seasons now, like the bubble, baseball bubble. And then, all the excitement carried over from that. And
NBA bubble.
Yeah, it got crazy, and it's still right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like one product I was looking forward to really bad was the Upper Deck AEW wrestling set. Just came out. I wanted to get a box of that. That is like an $80 box because it's like 3 autos or 4 autos in a case. And you get a relic and or like a shadow box card. Like Upper Deck. You're not going to get a lot of hits. They're not about the hits. Those are going for like $200 now, 160 if you're finding like someone that's not too greedy. But like I could get like a matte relic and that's $200. Like it's their cards are still crazy right now.
Yeah.
But it is coming down, but it's not, you're finding crappy retail out there now instead of nothing. So at least that has gone away. But Prism, any Prism box, when I was collecting, because I came back in 2012 and I've been collecting a little bit here and there. Prism came out like 2014, I think, for football, maybe 2013 or 12 for baseball, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There were $60 boxes. And then no one bought them. And I was buying like $30 Prism boxes of baseball like six years ago just to have something cheap to break, and I hate Prism. It's an ugly design, but it was like, I could get a Nolan Arenado rookie at least 2013, and then now it's like a $900 box and you're just like, this is insanity, man. Like this is not what I want. And I don't want people to lose money. I don't want people to buy $1,000 card and then have it be like $100 card, the next year. I don't want that. But man, my brother and I would each pitch in $50 and we get like a box of something decent, fun. But now you just can't do that. So but everything is correcting too. It's not just, it's the inflation, the markets, people aren't spending and everything's crashing. Everything is just down now.
Yeah,
so
it is. Except for gas prices.
Yeah, that's up.
But, it's definitely, another fun fact about me is, so a couple fun facts for me, for anyone who's watching this. I do not own one football card, and I have not opened retail. I have not opened a hobby box. I have not opened a pack that I have bought for myself since March of last year.
Wow. You're just straight up single searching. I dig it.
Because
that is the smartest way to go about it, really. It's not the most fun way. It is fun if you are finding your cards, like you said, in trading and making those deals. That is a fun side of the hobby, but it's the gamble, man. That's what the people are really after. Like, oh, hey, I bought this box, and like I bought a hanger last year and had that Mike Trout mask, super, super short print. So it's like, hey, I spent $10 and I got a $400 card,
right now. Yeah, that's an awesome.
So that's the chase that I like, not all the time, because I like to buy my way. How I like to collect is like I'll go on eBay and I'll be like, Denver Bronco autographs.
Yeah.
And then I'll sort by cheapest and I'll be like $2, $2, $2, $2, $2, $3, whatever, like a couple bucks above 99 cents where they start. And then I'll shut down eBay and I won't check it until I get an email that says you won or you lost, but I don't go rebid, and those are for like players that I like that have meaning to me. And I do it for the Rockies or the Avalanche or the Nuggets, just like how many of these deals of like $2 or $3 autographs can I get? And, that's fun for me because it's like, I know my price. I know if I watch the auction, I'm going to spend like $10, $12 on this card. That's a $2 card. So that's how I collect. But this just sounds like you were just like, hey, I like Jason Tatum and I'm going to trade what I have for that. And then I'm going to trade these other ones for that. And I'm going to buy these singles so I could trade something later. So
that's kind of what it's like, that's what it was like for me for a while. Like I'll see a guy like, who has decent value. Like let's say Jaren Jackson Jr.,
I have no idea who that is.
He's on the Grizzlies. He's the second best player on the Grizzlies with John Morant.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And, his cards are pretty cheap, but, they went up a little and I think they're probably back down again. I haven't checked, but guys like that, like guys who I think are good, but I know that even if I don't love the player, like if the card's cool, great. If not, I know I could trade it for something later.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I like to do things. But now, since I've started getting back, I don't want to say since I've started getting back into collecting after, I took like a month off or whatever and I came back, I've been trying to completely turn around how I'm collecting. I want to collect cards that I know I'm going to want to keep. I haven't gone into selling in a little bit, but I'm definitely going to start or at least trade again.
Yeah.
Cards that in my collection that I don't really care about. Like once I get in my new apartment and I display my cards again, anything that's not in that display that I don't really love is leaving.
Oh, that's good.
I have a huge problem when it comes to holding on to cards that especially since I only buy singles, I don't open, when I work in a social service field, I'm not making a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the value of $1 to me means something, but I don't spend money on really anything else besides food. So,
and not that much because you're a sexy looking dude. You eat your one ramen a day and then you work out and then you go buy cars.
Actually, I don't work out that much, but so for me, those cards that I've traded for are extremely they mean something to me because I put a lot of work into getting them. It's not like I opened up a box and I pulled it and now it's kind of like whatever. Like I remember this was a hard trade for me, but in hindsight, I think I would do this 100 out of 100 times. I had a raw Luka Doncic prism. And a guy, you can tell he's like, this guy's like into the investment part of the hobby. He's into, what's hot right now, what he can grade, what can get a 10, what can't.
Yeah.
He pulled a Wander Franco. It was like I'm sure you've seen it. It's the Ascensions case hit from 2021 Bowman, I think, or 2021 Bowman at the end of the year, auto of Wander Franco. And at the time, a Luka Doncic Prism rookie and that raw were kind of the same. And, he was looking at my card, he was inspecting, and I was like, would you trade it for that Wander? And I was kind of joking because I think that Wander is a super dope card. It's number 200. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
That's pretty cool.
I'm someone who, if I can get a card of a guy who's good or someone who I like, I'll trade any base card that's any valuable card that I know I'll see again for that any day of the week. And that's kind of what I'm trying to turn into. Collect things that are unique, things that you don't see all the time, things that I know I'm going to like. So, stuff like that.
What was it like with the FOMO, taking over? Describe that and describe how you realized that, got out of it, and kind of
it. So I'm someone who, as I said, the addictive personality comes.
We got Harris here. I'm going to add him real quick. All right.
Add him in. Yeah. Awesome.
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going, man?
Whoa, this is weird.
Yeah. Is it your first three-way?
Whoa.
Well, two dudes at least. So we were just talking about, Ryan and I have been talking. He's introduced himself, but I really, because he messaged me a while ago talking about how he got so addicted to the cards and the fear of missing out, the FOMO, that it was really hard on him. And I was just going to have him expand on that. So that's what we were talking about now. So sorry, Ryan, to interrupt, but we
get
this handsome mother trucker in. So
good, dude. I was out to dinner with my family. I had to drive my uncle to Boston, flying out tomorrow morning. I don't know how he's gonna fly out tomorrow morning. We're getting 7 inches of snow, but whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
yeah, I mean, Ryan and I he's been through a lot of the same stuff that I had been, and I think I got through those stages quicker. I mean, I've talked to Ryan, Ryan and I are very candid with each other. I mean,
we are.
I tell him, I'm just like, do you really need this card? Do you really want this card? I've got to the point in my collection where I just have so much fun collecting the little guys, the little the North Carolina basketball players, Alex Verdugo base cards, all that stuff is super fun to me because I try to keep up with everybody, and it was literally exhausting. It's just you can't do it.
You can't do it. And I think for me, it was a mix of just the personality part of having addictive tendencies being able just going on Twitter all the time, scrolling, see what other people are doing. You know, I love sports. I'll watch pretty much anything that's on TV.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, working at a hobby shop didn't help. Seeing all the cool shit come in, you know, and
That's not horrible though.
No, it was great. And I got
That's
a lot
better
of
than scrolling Twitter, you know.
right. I got a lot
I'll
of
do that all
really,
day anyways.
I got a lot of really cool cards for cheap from working at that place.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And I would say the hardest part was, oh man, like this John Morant card I have, you know, it's not as good as this guy's. I need to get something better. And, you know, I did get something better, but it cost me that card and like 10 other cards I had and maybe some money on top to get that better one.
Yeah, and then you're like, now what?
And then, and then a couple months down the line, you might be like, or I was like, do I even like this card? I don't miss any. So for me, any card I've traded, I don't remember which cards I've traded. Like, unless I have one Michael Jordan refractor that I traded. I wish I never traded. That's the one.
I wish you didn't trade that either. I would have told you to hold that shit forever.
That was the stupidest thing. I mean, the value is there at the card I traded it for, and it still is, but I would rather
Which
have
is fine, bro. Like, trade for what you want to trade for. Like, that's what you've done.
Exactly.
And I give you props for that. Like, I'm the person that will go and give somebody their asking price on the card because I don't want to ask for anything cheaper. Mm-hmm. But you will go and trade for other cards. Like, we're different in collecting in that way, but we've gone through the same problems, and it's been crazy to go through.
Yeah, it has.
So, well, Harris, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about how you got into cards, and have you been there the whole time, and when did you come back, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So I'm 23 years old. I live currently in Drake, Massachusetts. Ryan and I live one town over from each other, like probably 10 minutes away.
Awesome.
I went to Catholic school for 12 years of my life. I was a good boy for 12 years of my life. I was a good boy for 18 years of my life. Actually, I should say all through college. It's like the worst thing I did in college was get a tattoo. I think that was pretty good on me. But I graduated from Coastal Carolina. I have a degree in sport management. I loved my time there. I had an internship before COVID happened. And then when that all got shut down in March 2020, I kind of just cruised to the end of my degree, but I didn't get the experience that I wanted. So I stayed down there for a little bit in the summer, and then I came back home. And I was living with my parents and became a long-term substitute teacher at middle school last year. And but rewind, because the whole reason that I got into this card, Twitter, everything, whatever, was because of COVID. I mean, I feel like a lot of us were in that same boat. You're like, what? Live sports is gone. What the hell am I gonna do? Like,
yeah,
my whole life was like watching football with the boys on Saturdays and all that stuff. But I mean, my account was originally, if anybody is watching this that was an original follower, I was like a streamer. That was my account. It was for MLB The Show. I would play FIFA. But I kind of got tired of just like entertaining everybody. I was like, I just like to play my games, and like I'd so much rather play my game and watch Netflix or watch a sports game or whatever than try to entertain other people while I'm doing it. Like, I'm such an introvert in that way. Like, and I thought I would like it, but I gained a little bit of a following, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna switch it up. And it really wasn't that big of a switch because I was still going from the same like people. They enjoyed sports games, but now I'm just shifting gears to sports cards. And I think it took me 3 or 4 months before I think the best decision that I made personally with my account was not I didn't exactly come with a profile picture like you can see me now, but like I unanonymized myself. I don't know what I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but like I wanted to put myself out there because like there's so much.
Doxed yourself. That's what they call it now. Yeah. That's what they doxed myself by revealing your face on Twitter. So yes.
Yeah. And I wanted to do that because with social media, you can say so much shit just behind a screen. You can say so much, you can talk a lot, and you can do whatever you want. But my whole thinking is, I'm a human being. I want others to treat me as a human being, not just as a profile picture. So like, I'm gonna give you who I am. I'm gonna let you know that I'm a real person because I want to be treated with the same respect as a real person, not just some online troll that's here to just cause havoc. Like I want people to know the genuine side of me because I went through so many. We've all been through the social media where it's all just like it's fake.
Yep.
Everybody's life is fake. Everybody's happy. You wouldn't know anything was wrong with the world except everybody complaining about everything in the world.
Yeah. And I'm a clout vampire, as they say. So, I'm always just fake
like
tweeting and I'm not sincere and just doing it for the attention. So,
You're just
real
singing
quick,
all day.
guys, I have to admit, I hate Boston.
I don't like Boston.
You guys beat us in the World Series, the Rockies, and suddenly Red Sox fans were everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have the 07.
So I kind of had this like hatred for Boston, but after like being on social media and actually like talking to like you two especially, but other people, it's like, man, we're all just cool people rooting for our teams.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to hate a team or a city. You can still hate them, but like you don't have to be a dick about it.
Right. You don't have to be, unless Yankees fans. Fuck them.
I like the Yankees, so
even the Yankees fans, like
they're fine too. They're fine too. I'm just messing.
Yeah, no. But
and let me say something about the Yankees. I can't even consider that a rivalry or anything. Y'all ain't beat us in like 20 years. So
Yankees, I had a one of the first books I bought at like a book fair in like 1983 was a Lou Gehrig story, like kids book. So I thought that was cool. And then somehow I ended up with like a ratty tatty Yankees hat, probably from the 60s and it was like in the 80s. And so I was just like, oh, cool, the Yankees. And my brother collected Don Mattingly, and when he gave me his cards, he had like a couple pages in his binder of Don Mattingly. So I was like, Yankees, hey, I kind of like him, but I'm not like that big of a fan. It was more of like an anti-Boston thing after, the World Series. So it was like, I'm going to root against them. But now I'm just like, I don't care. But I just like to say that to, get the reaction.
I don't either. I mean, I was telling people when the World Series was coming around, I was like, I'm a Boston Red Sox fan right now. And like, this was the point when the Sox were still in there. But I was like, I have so many friends that are Atlanta Braves fans. And I was like, I can't wait for them to finally get that moment because I lived with a bunch of them when I was down in school.
Yeah.
And I was there with them for 28-3. Like it was just the amount of time with Georgia football, the Atlanta Braves, it didn't matter. Atlanta sports, Falcons, whatever. You're cursed. But like I was just so happy because like I know what it's like. I've felt those emotions, and like for a whole other fan base to feel those emotions, that's how many newer fans that you're gonna get for the long term. Yeah. Like if Boston keeps winning, cool, I'm really happy. But to have a new team, new organization with a new generation of fans come in, now they get that experience. You've got fans for life in Atlanta. Like that's the awesome part of championships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it goes with not only like card collecting, but then also more people just to talk sports with. And if you're like a true sports fan, it seems like we three are, you just like talking sports with people.
Yeah.
I just like talking.
Well, I could tell you just like talking.
Dude, awesome. So I'm the quietest person in the room until I'm comfortable. Then I'm the loudest motherfucker in the room. That's all it is.
I am a character, and then I'll just disappear. Like sometimes I'm the guy standing in the corner of a party because I just don't like to party.
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, I'll get, like, hey, where'd you go? I was like, oh, I left like 2 hours ago.
That's weird.
Took you that long to notice? I guess I'm a ninja. But how do you feel about that, Ryan? Like when the Braves won the World Series, did you get that excitement for some friends? Did you because it's a hobby. The Braves, that was a hobby win because you got the Acuna, he wasn't on that team, but still he got a ring but those teams that are good, like the Padres, if the Padres won, I would hate it because I'm a Rockies fan, but I'm like, that's a hobby team, man. If a hobby team wins, we all win.
Yeah. So I think Harris, the way you just said that was like perfect. That was perfectly said. And
thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. And one of my favorite things that I've seen on Twitter every day, I don't know if it's because it's trolling at the Astros or whatever, but it's the Jorge Soler home run. I see that every day on Twitter. And it's always from a Braves fan, but it might be trolling to the Houston fans, whatever. Those people are so proud of what that team did this year. A guy that I worked with at the hobby shop that I work at is a Braves fan. And I got to see him, after they won, and he's just like the happiest guy. And the thing is, that team was not good up until the All-Star break. That roster was not good. Still is not that good.
No.
Anthopoulos.
The guys that they got were like, maybe this can work. Who knows?
And they did it, man. Yeah.
And they did it. And that was honestly, it's kind of like, how in basketball teams will acquire these random ass dudes who are decent at the deadline and nothing will happen? It's like whoever gets Jeff Green at the deadline every year. The Hawks, the Braves got 4 or 5 Jeff Greens and they made it work.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love baseball, though.
Yeah, you cannot predict that shit. And they, and the Red Sox too. Even like when we were starting, like I thought we were going to make the World Series. Like same thing. Like we didn't do.
I did too.
Just
because it felt magical. Like it felt magical, just like Atlanta did.
It did. Like I think even though we're the Red Sox, Tom, like screw us. But I think a lot of people did kind of like our team. Like I thought. It was a lovable team, like a bunch of these guys are good, but like I still think there's a lot of players on both those teams who are super underrated.
It felt good to have like half of the world on your side because everybody hates the Astros. Like, all right, they hate the Astros more than they hate Boston.
One of my favorite videos was when Verdugo was like talking to the dudes in the stand or whatever, and before like security came and broke it up.
Bro,
I love that. I was like, I hate the Red Sox, but that video, it's like, dude, he's a cool. He's a cool guy.
He was talking about it. He was talking about it on Section 10 podcast. And he was like, it was a Yankees fan, and he was just talking shit back and forth. And Verdugo was like, Verdugo was like, you're gonna be here tomorrow night? And he's like, wait a second, buys the ticket. He says, yeah, I'll be right here tomorrow night, same place. I'll see you then. And it's the funniest thing. Like he embraces it. That's the awesome part about it. That's why I love him.
Yeah, and I think. Not to talk so much about the Red Sox, but I think guys like Devers, Bogarts, Verdugo, so underrated in the hobby. I have no idea why Rafael Devers is.
Listen, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you got to buy your cards cheap, man.
Why Rafael Devers is half the price of a Juan Soto, no idea. But you know what?
Xander Bogaerts is a Hall of Fame shortstop, and I have quite a collection.
Yeah, and even guys
might be a hot take, but he's like probably the best shortstop in Major League right now. One of the best.
Top 3. He's one of the best. And Tom, that goes to guys like Trevor Story. Like he's really freaking good too. I hope is he still with you guys?
He has not signed with anyone yet because there is a lockout. But yeah, no, he's gone. But yeah, it's the disrespect of those players that are like so extremely good, but for whatever reason, the hobby just doesn't care. Like. Go buy a Trevor Story autograph for like $10. You know what I mean? And you're like, the dude's an all-star, jacking home runs, and 20, 30 years ago, this guy would have been the, most valuable card ever. So it's kind of like, yeah. And I feel that for the Red Sox because, Bogarts, I don't hate. No, I see like you and maybe a couple other people post pictures of him and Devers a little bit more, but no Verdugo really. It's like you never see those guys.
Verdugo guy.
He'll come out next year. I'll tell you, he will break out next year for a lot of people, I feel like.
Well, like I said, that video impressed me, and it broke out.
He's just too much of a character. Like, he's embraced the city of Boston, and Boston has already embraced him back. It's crazy.
He's very likable.
If Tom likes him, he's good.
Yeah. If I like him, it's good. Because like I said, I hate everything you guys stand for. So Harris, let's talk real quick about how I let you down, man, while you were out here in Colorado.
You did not
Like
let
we
me
tried
down,
multiple times, like, hey, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna hook up, we're gonna meet up, we're gonna go to a ball game, and
And now look at us having a threesome. Look at it. Like,
yeah, a
come on.
threesome over camera. We could have had one in person.
That game that we were planning to meet up for, I ended up going by myself anyways. I was like, screw it. Like I'll go to a baseball game all by myself. I don't care. But
I do want to
mean,
apologize. Like I don't know if you guys know, like I was depressed, man, like bad depressed, and Twitter, like it was just not going well for me. People picking fights with me, wanting to destroy me, and
Yeah,
just,
that was a weird time.
yeah, and it was like they thought, and that was the kind of the addiction I had, was like the Twitter addiction. Like, hey, I'm kind of funny and people kind of like me, and I want to get a ton of followers because it's fun. But then it's like, yeah, then you get backlash a little bit, and people calling you fake or a clout chaser, or oh, you just want to screw Lauren Taylor. That's why you did the auction with your feet. And it's like, no, man, we raised $3,000. Has nothing to do with her. Like, I'm happily married. I don't want another woman. You know how awful that sounds to try to take care of two, and one's hard enough. But yeah, I was just like so depressed and like trying to get out, and I was doing the DoorDash and my normal job, and I just such a disappointment. It's like one of my biggest regrets from last year was not actually going to the game or hooking up and meeting with you, Harris, because it's such a disappointment when you have friends that are that close, like there.
Well, I will. Like I can make a promise to you. I will be back out there pretty soon because my uncle's lease runs out in February, but he's re-upping in that area. My cousin, who's my age, she's getting her own apartment somewhere out there, and when she gets back there, she's gonna let me know where she's looking. I could be moving out there because she's the easiest person in the world to live with, and she likes to live super. She lives super cheap. She got a degree at UVM, so she's in a lot of debt. So she's just like, she's staying with her father, just like I am. But she loves it out there, and so did I. The only reason I came home was I didn't have the money to stay out there. Like I was prepared to have 1 month's rent ready and then just make it work for the rest of the time. But as soon as the application got denied in Arizona, I was like, I'm just going home, and it's been a good decision so far. But I loved it out there, dude, so much. Such a beautiful area.
And there's like I moved in with my wife in like 2010. I lived with my parents forever. Like, clearly look at me. Like I am but I was paying rent for them and helping them out. But moving back in with your parents, like people like older generations don't understand, man, that like, so this is what's in like 1950 to pay in the 50s to pay all your bills, like house payment, car payment, all the bills that they had. You only had to work 8 hours a week. And then the 32 other hours were basically extra. So that's why you look back then in the 50s, they have like vacation cabins and, a boat and other things. It's because, inflation, like they really screwed us over in like the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s to the point where we are now, where it's like you have to work 48 hours a week to pay your bills, and there's nothing left over. So
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and there's no shame in that. Like it sucks, but you're doing what you can. You're living your life, and if anyone ever says anything, just let me know. I'll sit on them, man. I'll beat the shit out of them. I don't care, man.
I have absolutely no regrets. Like I tried to move across the country and fell flat on my face, but I had a hell of a time doing it. Yeah. And falling flat on my face, it wasn't any like fault of my own. It was just a friend had some stuff in the past come up and we couldn't make it work, so I just didn't want to do it anymore. But I've made a good decision. I love being at home, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And my wife, she's disabled. She was in a couple car accidents right after we got married, and I lost my job to move closer to her job, and I had like a torn pectoral muscle, so I was like rehabbing it, and I couldn't get work because I was disabled still, and she just couldn't do it anymore and had to get the surgery. So she's like, we can't afford the rent. It was like, cheap rent, $500 for a room in a friend's place. But she moved back in with her parents, and I had to move in with my mom. And then, a couple of years later, we were able to get our finances together and we've been here in this apartment that we're in now for like 4 years. So it's like, things happen in life, and to be able to just accept it and adjust is an amazing quality, because some people just, they feel bad, but no, it's very resilient what you guys are doing. Because I know, Ryan, you've had some stuff go on. We don't want to talk about that, but you've had to make some moves and changes. And Harris, you were bouncing around trying to do whatever you could, and it doesn't work out all the time, but it's going to work out eventually. So yeah, you just mentioned it.
Out.
You just mentioned,
out.
Yeah.
So I told Ryan, like, he's got a friend coming in to live with him. Like, it's worked out. Everything in the end works out. Like, you can stress about it all you want, but if you can't control it, if I can't control it, I'm not going to waste my time and worry about it.
That is like the most mature message that you can actually have,
It's much easier said than done, but he's right.
Yes, it is the hardest thing to be like, I can't control this.
In my face.
Yeah. Tell us about your pets, Harris. You're one of the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
My mom had guinea pigs for a while, and she kept being like, hey, we want boy guinea pigs. And they're like, okay, this is a boy. And then it would give birth and die, and all the young would die. And she tried that like 5 times before she was like, I can't do this anymore, Tom. It's heartbreaking to keep burying these guinea pigs that are like children having babies and like the rape pens. So, but tell me about your little angels, because they're adorable.
I got them when I was down in South Carolina. I was going through a really tough time my sophomore year, because my freshman year you had like 9 other roommates. You were in a suite of 5 rooms. But as soon as sophomore year came, you always had somebody to do something with, or whatever. But sophomore year you move in, you got your own room, and you've only got 3 other roommates. And when 2 roommates get a girlfriend and one goes through his own shit, like, I'm on my own. And I was like, how am I going to stop feeling so sorry for myself out here? And we weren't allowed to have pets because I was in university housing at the time. But I got them at PetSmart 3 years ago. They've been like the most well-traveled guinea pigs, dude. They've been up and down the East Coast. They've been out to Colorado. They've been all over the place. But like I said, it gives me something to not feel sorry about myself for. And it's like there's always something else I have to provide for at the end of the day. And like, as small as it is, like, I'm not ready for a dog right now. Like, my best friend TJ has a black lab, and like, I'll go over there, and that's like my nephew. That's my dog. I grew up with a dog, but right now, I can't do it. I don't want to be home enough. Like, I want to be able to go out and about. Guinea pigs are easy,
Yeah. I love the little calls they make, the little whistle squeals, when they're excited and they're happy to see you and they're standing up. That's so great. What about you, Ryan? You pet guy?
I am a pet guy. I had cats. They weren't mine, so they're not here anymore. But I like pretty much any kind of animal. I have 3 dogs. They're with my mom in Vermont. That's where she and my stepdad live. They're 2 Yorkies and a golden doodle. The golden doodle is 17 and she's kind of on her last leg, but she's like the best dog ever.
That's a hell of a life.
Yeah,
hell of a life. I tell you what, man, I see her and let's see. So yeah, I've had her since I was 6. So I saw her over Christmas break a little bit, and which is really recent. She's able to get up and be happy. So she's happy right now. So that's what I'm happy about. But yeah, so I'm a big pet person. I might get a fish or something. I don't know.
I love fish.
My dad has fish.
Yeah, they're so cool. Just watch them. Let's talk about something really serious now. We're all sports gamers. What is your all-time favorite sports franchise? And then which one are you the best at? Ryan, why don't you go first?
Oh, man. My nostalgia, my all-time favorite was Tony Hawk's Skate.
Yeah. That's a good game.
The best sports game, the game I was the best at. I don't know. For me, like 2K 11, 2K10, 2K12. Those were like my favorite games when I was like in middle school, early high school. Madden's always like the early Madden. Madden 07 is the greatest sports game ever made, in my opinion.
Is that with Marshawn Lynch?
Sean Alexander.
Who's on the cover? Sean Alexander. I knew it was Seahawks.
Yep. Yep. You're right. And that was the best game ever made. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, you can argue, NCAA football.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Harris, what about you?
I really go through 2 cycles. I've had my PlayStation for a year, and all I've played is MLB The Show and FIFA. So getting my new monitor for Christmas, I was able to finally play Spider-Man and get all those 4K games in. I was waiting to be able to get full capacity for it, but I love FIFA right now. I'm on my FIFA grind. I'm having a lot of fun with it this year. I would say probably I'm the better at that than I am MLB, just because MLB, there's a lot of random stuff that can go on in that game.
Yeah.
FIFA can be a lot more tactics and thinking on your feet and all that, not just kind of random. As much as I love MLB, I know it has its downfalls. But I love FIFA Ultimate Team, and I've met so many friends through all like the different factions of like hobby Twitter, like people. I'm in one of the Cutler's Burners gaming chat. Like that's the only Cutler's chat I'm in, but basically it's a FIFA chat. Like,
nice.
It's super fun. Yeah.
My favorite, man, like hockey games. I don't know how many hockey games you guys have played, but for some reason, hockey games are like so much fun to play. Like 2000,
I agree.
2001, like when the Avs won the cup and had a super team. I had it for like PlayStation 2. It was like the first hockey game to come out. I had so much fun with that game. I would make, characters and just knock people out with one punch in fights and stuff.
Yeah.
You scored 33 goals a game on like not the hardest difficulty, but a couple up. But Madden, I think for a while there, I was really, really good and into Madden. And like my cousin, he used to like challenge me and be like, "Oh, you're not that good at Madden," and I'd play him and I'd just whoop him. And he's like, "Okay, play on all Madden." And I was like, "Okay, pick your team," and he picked the Patriots. Because they were the best team. Might have been like 2004 with the one with Dante Culpepper, maybe through.
You can pick a lot of years that they were the best team.
A lot of years. And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to pick the Broncos, and I have Champ Bailey, and I'm going to run this cover 2 dime defense." Where Champ Bailey's going to pick off Tom Brady in the flat and return 2 touchdowns, and I win 14-10. Almost every time he did that to me. It was Champ Bailey returning 2 interceptions for a touchdown and 14-10, 14-3. So it's just like.
See, I felt the last Madden game that I bought was when Brady was on the cover. And what was that, maybe 18?
Yeah.
And I just I fell behind. I didn't play football when I was growing up. So a lot of that, like the game planning and plays and audibles and all that, like I don't understand a damn thing on defense. Like you could say cover 2 dime defense. I don't know what I know. Cover 2 means 2 safeties. Like other than that, I have no idea. Like it just fell so far.
A dime is 4 defensive backs.
Yep.
4 defensive back. Okay. So you don't put a lot up. How are you putting 4 on the line?
3 up, 3 up, 4 corners, 2 safeties.
Yeah,
so a nickel is 5 defensive backs, and then the dime
clever
doubles it because you substitute an extra linebacker out for. So it's kind of
that's where it doesn't make sense. You go from.
So you go basically from like 4 linemen, 1 linebacker, 6 defensive backs. That's the dime. And then the nickel is 4, 2 linebackers, then 5. So yeah, it's kind of this play dropped the cornerbacks to the flat, had the 2 safeties over top because that's what cover 2 is. You have the 2 safeties playing deep, covering each half of the field, and then other zones. But yeah, just anything flat that was thrown there. Champ Bailey being so awesome,
you're ready.
Just returned it. But see, that's what I dropped out of that too. I remember that because I played. That was my defense call. It's like, oh, it's 4th and 1, dimes flat. You know what I mean? Like,
Belichick's going man to man. Tom's going.
And I fell out of it too, man. Like now I suck at Madden, but at that time, like I was really into it, like because the Broncos, late 90s, I was a late teen, 18, 19, 20 was when we were the peak of the NFL. And yeah, I was playing all the time. You got championship teams, you're in your game, you're like, hell yeah. And so, man, I could have been an offensive coordinator back then. You know what I mean? Like I could draw up plays, make my own plays, call the plays like they call them in the huddle. And now I'm like, what is that? I think I just want one where the guy goes slant that way and just call it.
Just draw my plays.
Something I will say about video games, especially on playing online competitive, there's maybe besides FIFA, Harris, there's no such thing as a casual game anymore.
It's intense.
Everything is a sweat fest. Everything.
Because I stopped playing before online with sports games. I never played anyone online. I mean, I can't stand Halo because last time I played Halo was Halo 5. Played one game, got called the N word, the F word, P word.
It's every word in the game.
Every word in like the first 5 minutes. And I'm like, dude, I died 3 times and I have 1 kill. Like, this is my very first game.
The way
Why are you doing this? It's a casual game. We're not in ranked or anything. And I was just like, you know what? I'm done.
The way everyone me and Harris's age when we were in 6th grade got our aggression and our angst out was in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
Oh my God, I love
Modern Warfare 2. Oh,
that was the shit. Good. I haven't bought a Call of Duty in years, but as soon as they make a Modern Warfare 2, actually, have they already made one for next gen?
They've remastered it. I
think. I might have to then. I don't know. It doesn't have multiplayer though. I think multiplayer is what makes it.
Oh yeah, you got to have the multiplayer.
That's the fun. So like, I like when they bring back the old maps, but like I haven't played since maybe Black Ops 2. Like I just lost it when they went with all the like techno stuff. Like I wanted a boots on the ground type of game. I don't really play shooters anyways.
Yeah, I don't like World War II because there's so much World War II stuff. So those games don't appeal to me that much. Not anything against that era, because that's a crazy era to have lived and fought. But I liked it when it went modern. Call of Duty 4 was Modern Warfare 1. And I had a friend that was really good at that. He was like, 2 million people played and he was like the top 20,000. So to me, that was like, hey, you're awesome, man. Like I'm in the top 2 million. There's only 500,000 people worse than me in this game, but out of 3 million that played it. But yeah, like those games were so much fun. Like I loved Modern Warfare and then Modern Warfare 2. And then I have the Advanced Warfare Xbox console just because that was the only one I could get. Played that game for like 10 minutes and I was like, no, I don't want to be
what is this shit?
Yeah, it's like, no, just give me my guns. And
you thought you were playing Halo.
Yeah, those games are fun if you have like a team of friends to play with, but you can't play by yourself and have fun.
Hey, Ryan, the Celtics.
Don't tell me. I haven't watched it yet. Don't tell me. I didn't hear it.
Wow, you're one of those. You're really gonna go back and watch?
Yeah, dude. I don't have to get up until late tomorrow.
That's awesome. I did that for a Broncos game this year, and my friend was having his like.
I think that's a little different
reception, and I went there, and they had the game on the TV on the side, so I had to I was like, I have to sit this way, babe, so I don't watch the screen because I got it recorded. Football is a little different, but I have a friend who would record the Avalanche games and watch them, and yeah, it's just kind of like that, and it'd be like, hey man, we're waiting to go to the bar. He's like, wait till this Avalanche game's over. It's like, dude, it's over. He's like, no, I just recorded it. And it's like 3-1. Let's go. He used to get so pissed. But yeah, I can understand that. If that's your team, you don't want that spoiled and you want to just
it's also they're playing the Knicks, and there's something about watching them play Madison Square Garden. I wouldn't do it for any other team against either Lakers or Knicks. That.
I just give Ryan shit.
I'm
like, we're all a diehard about something. You ask Ryan first. You'll get the true answer. You'll get the really biased one here.
How are the Celtics doing this year? Not good. I just keep up with the Nuggets and just that barely. Just we actually can't watch Nuggets games because Comcast and
that's annoying.
Altitude are in a conflict. It's been 3 years with no local Avalanche or Nuggets games.
That's what it's like with YouTube TV and watching the Red Sox. Like we can't watch the Red Sox with YouTube TV. But anyways,
you got to get yourself on a VPN.
Yeah, you're right. The Celtics, they got the two.
They don't appeal to
Brown
me.
are nice, but the rest of the team doesn't fit around them. You need shooters. If you have two isolation scorers who can score at will, you need to surround that team with. I like Rob Williams too. He can stay. But,
I do too.
You need to surround them with shooters.
The Time Lord.
The Time Lord.
Yes, him.
He's awesome.
Yes.
You need guys who can just shoot the ball, who can hit corner threes because they're going to get wide open looks every time. Tatum's been kind of bad this year, which isn't good for my cards. But, I don't care.
I'm glad I got out of him early then.
He's top 10 in scoring. He's still averaging 26 a game.
I like him.
Oh, wow.
How can you not?
I like him a lot too. He has
I
I wish he had more of a personality, but that's kind of what Jaylen does. He's more of the personality of the team. Jaylen Brown is like, if you want to get into a basketball player, for anyone who's watching, this is not this is biased in a way, but Jaylen Brown is like the coolest guy in the NBA.
He's one hell of a human being. Like he is so smart. So smart.
Like he plays chess with people on the plane, and like he does like these speeches at MIT and Cal Berkeley. He's like a social rights activist. And then he's dropping 50 on people like he did. He's like the coolest guy in my opinion. I hope we never get rid of him. I really like him.
Yeah, those are basically the three players I know you guys have. So.
Yeah, Smart. Everyone hates Marcus Smart, including us. We don't like Marcus Smart.
I like Peyton Pritchard. I want to hang on to Peyton Pritchard because I love him. But other than that, dude, the whole
team can
go for all I care. Like I haven't watched the games this year. I just don't put myself through it. Like I see the Celtics lead through 3 quarters every single night, and then all of a sudden,
bang, fourth quarter.
Like what? Like I see 4 notifications a day. Win, loss. Good night. Sucks. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, the Nuggets are just like that. You're like, okay, they're playing the Spurs. They're up through 2.5 or 3, and then they lose by 20 or something in the fourth.
How are they doing this year?
They're like 500.
There's a lot of teams there.
Yeah.
Or Michael Porter Jr. is up for the year, right?
Yeah, he just had back surgery again, so
that's a tough contract.
He's probably out next year too.
His contract is so bad.
What are they getting, $40 million a year?
Yeah, max contract, whatever a max contract goes for. Yeah,
for Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, I know.
That's one of the worst contracts
ever.
I have been one of those people that have been just saying trade him, package him with Bol, ship him to the moon. I don't care, just get something else. And no,
he's a hell of a talent, but
right, which is tough because he's so good, but like he can't stay healthy. Like
he's
it's a back problem.
Guys, like here's. The NBA is such a weird league. I love it. The NBA is the only sport that I think goes year round because it's drama all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. is in that class of players, like even Jason Tatum is too, of the AAU players. I'm not sure what Michael Porter Jr.'s life was like growing up, but there's this class of players in the NBA nowadays who were very privileged growing up. They've had everything kind of given to them. They've won at not privileged as in money, but they've won at every level of playing.
Yeah, they had those
they've never faced adversity.
Yeah,
never
they
faced
were always with the best.
Like Jason Tatum was a star AAU player on the best AAU team. Went to Duke, which is the best college. Was drafted onto the Celtics, who made it to the Eastern Conference Finals first year. I know you're an NC. Yep. First year.
I agree with Harris here. I like North Carolina.
We don't like the darker blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I almost went to NC State, which is the red. But
yeah.
I almost became a huge Dennis Smith Jr. fan, which would have been terrible.
Rip.
But anyways, yeah, it's just like there's these guys who like I was talking to my friends and like, in the NBA, like if you're experiencing winning every year in any sport, but especially the NBA, like, especially if you're Jason Tatum, or even Jaylen Brown, guys like that, who you've won since you've entered the league. Like not maybe finals, but you've gotten close to there pretty much every year.
Yeah, dominant playoff,
right?
Contending team.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't understand. This is coming from me, a guy who's not in the NBA, but as a viewer, you get it. You don't understand that there is a ladder to climb up again every year. You're the team everyone wants to beat now. Jason Tatum, when you come into town, their best defender is going to be on you and wants to lock you up. They want to be able to say to everyone the next day, I locked up a top 5 scorer in the NBA.
Yep.
Like, you got to want it. Like, I used to hate guys like LeBron, Jimmy Butler. LeBron isn't really in this category as much. People will hate on him, whatever. But Jimmy Butler, like he's
Jimmy.
Great. But you hate Jimmy?
No, I love Jimmy.
I love Jimmy too.
But he's also on a bad contract, if we're being honest.
Oh, $50 million a couple years? Oh, yeah, that's
he's
bad.
On a very bad contract, but carry on.
But he knows that. Like, guys like that, like, you climb that ladder every year. Like, you know, it's not like nothing's guaranteed. Like, look at the East this year. Like, the Celtics are below 500, but they're only 2 games out of being in the 6th seed. Like,
I couldn't tell you what the standings are right now. Like, I know it's a log.
The Cavs are top. The Cavaliers are a top 4 seed right now, and Darius Garland's their best player, so he's good. But like,
I know the Nuggets are 5th in the West, like 8 games behind Utah.
Utah's really good.
Yeah, Utah
is Utah all the way at the top?
Mm-hmm.
No. Golden State is.
I was gonna say
Golden State. It's Golden State.
Utah's the top of the division for sure. But the Nuggets play in. But
it's Golden State. It's either Golden State, Suns, then Utah.
Yeah, the Suns too. They're can't forget them.
Yeah, they're really good. They're likable.
Warriors, Suns, Jazz, Grizzlies. Yeah, Suns and Warriors are tied, 29-8.
I mean, I like watching the Golden State. You know, when they're the super teams, that was a fun team to watch.
I respect them so much more.
I agree on every level. Even when they had Kevin Durant, who I've come to respect more and more, I think, as the years have gone. Like this year, he's earned my respect back because I think when Kyrie was out and it was him and Harden, I would watch their games when they were on. I'm like, man, that's kind of a fun team to watch. He's kind of a fun player to watch.
I loved under Kevin Durant.
Right. That Golden State team, even with Kevin Durant, was the most fun basketball team that I have ever watched. They just pass the ball, shoot, play defense better than anyone. Like, watching LeBron come back down 3-1 against them was fun as hell to watch too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But that team was just like, even with Durant, like, they're hateable, sure.
Yeah.
But like, they're hateable because they did not have one flaw.
Steph makes that whole thing go around.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Nobody runs like Steph Curry.
Steph changed the game just as much. Yep. Steph changed the game just as much as Michael Jordan, just as much as LeBron. Like, Steph changed the game forever.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
best shooter of all time, right? I mean, it's hard to argue that. The stats.
Klay Thompson's the second best shooter of all time, too.
Pretty much. That's what's so crazy.
I hope Tommy Vaughn's listening to this. TV Sports Cards. He's a Warriors fan. I hope he's listening to us. Give the Warriors some credit.
I love Tommy. He was on my show. He's like my 3rd or 4th.
I know. Guest. I saw that. Yeah.
I didn't know him that well, but man, what a nice kid.
Yeah.
Love that
I've
guy.
talked to him a bunch of times. When he was in the area like a couple months ago, he had messaged me asking for a card store that I go to, and it was the one that you and Ryan were talking about earlier, Case Hit. I told him to go there. It's just a super awesome store. But I wasn't in town. I wish I would have been able to see him.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of awesome guys on Twitter, like in that group, like TV, Euphoric. Zach Loudenberg is really cool too.
Yep.
I love that group of guys. They're really great. They interact with each other and every tweet's adorable.
It's fun. Like, there are so many hobby cliques, you know what I mean? And then
that's the funny part, and you don't feel left out of any of them either.
No. It's when everyone gets along, you know, you don't want to be like nothing like political, but like you guys know, like the Proud Boy Twitter assholes. Those guys
in there.
There's some great guys in there, but you know, they just such dicks on Twitter. You're just like, hey man, like I can't do this anymore.
I just block it and I move on from it because it's just like I left Facebook and I left Instagram because there's just so much shit I didn't want to see. And it was like I'm too afraid to stand up to people that I know. Like, I'm not going to stand up to like my friend's mom who's saying hashtag White Lives Matter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but I will stand up to the bullshit that I see on Twitter because I know that I have a good group of people around me that will support whatever.
Because you had one of those blowouts recently. That's what brought that to mind. And I was like, oh, yeah, I blocked that guy a long time ago.
I don't know why I didn't either. I think I didn't do it just for the entertainment of one day. There might be a blow up just like that. And there was. Like, and I had made a like comment about the American flag after it, and like I was really mad. I was like really mad at myself and all that. But I was like, it's so many of the people that put the flags in their bios and all over their life, but want to take away those same freedoms that America promises.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, you want to lock them away in their own habitat? Like, America? It's just
there's a lot of ignorance.
I don't like hypocrites. I don't like ignorance, and I'll call that out when I see it. It just
I don't care what you believe in or who you vote for, as long as you
speak
nice
well and are kind. We can have that conversation of like, oh, why do we disagree on this subject? Oh, okay, I see your point. It's not my point.
You need to agree with it to see it. Yeah,
and then. It's usually the loud flag waving a-holes, but that doesn't.
It doesn't automatically uncheck the box. Like, if I see that, if somebody follows me and I see a whole lot of that at the top of your profile, I'm still gonna give you a scroll through, see what you're about, and if you're about what I'm about, cool, I'll give you that follow back. Like, I do that for everybody. I don't care what's at the top of your profile.
Yeah, no matter how many followers people have, if they follow me, I just do that quick check and like. Are they a real person? Are they just a giveaway bot? What do they
giveaway bot? Oh my god, I don't like I wish I could do giveaways where I could just like solely let my friends win whatever card, like my close circle of however many people interact with me, and not have the chance that one of those bots comes in and gets it. Like you two, like it could be something cool. It's just like I don't want it to go to some bot.
It's a random person.
You can do that though, if those stupid little circle things of friendships.
I haven't done one of those before.
You could just do one of those, copy all those names to be like giveaway. Random all those names off. But that's only with people that you interact with. It's not like who interacts with you.
What's that called?
Tiffy.
What's the
I don't know. You just got to find one, and the website's in like the bottom corner.
Sometimes it doesn't let you download it for a while though.
Because there's so many transactions per minute or something.
Chirpy. What am I? HTV 98_cards.
Yeah. So 17th Son, this is the Quasi on Twitch. He's like, I don't block and I don't mind if we don't get, I could just show it here. If we have the same beliefs, as long as you don't bully or treat other people poorly. That's it, man. Just don't be a jerk. Like, hey,
treat
I
other
don't
people
want
like
to get the vaccine because it scares me. Okay, we can understand.
That's fair. That's your.
But not
you
like
do to protect yourself and your family. Like that's not my job.
But don't be super crazy about it and say it's. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into politics.
Too much division.
As long as you don't call me like a mask-wearing pussy, then we're good.
Oh, you kiss your wife with that mask? Yeah, sometimes
I do.
It's easier than taking it off and then putting it back on.
There was a woman at Stop and Shop today. It's just a grocery store or whatever. It's a New England chain. And she was like eating a sandwich walking around the store. And one of the other merchandisers, I think it was for like Lay's or something, he came up to me. He's like, "There's this woman walking around with a sandwich," and she's asking me where the whatever aisle is. And he's like, "Oh, it's all the way over there." She's like, "I can't hear you behind that mask." He's like, "Okay, fuck off. I'm out of here." My God, that's the shit that you deal with. Like, I work in grocery stores all day. It's like it's all boomers. Like, they're all the same mindset. It's like, oh, shoot me.
I used to work at a grocery store, and I had my buddy, one of my best buddies in the world, Jesse Allen. He's Rock and Roll on Twitter, and he's an artist. But one of his things that he would do, and I had to talk to him as like an assistant manager, is people walk up to you in the store, they'll be like, "Cereal?" And he'd be like, Jesse. My name is Jesse. And just stare
Mine
at him and
says
not answer.
Polar.
It's like you just say my name and ask me where cereal is. And then this one
Yeah, I
lady
don't even have a
freaked
name
out.
tag. They just think they can ask me shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just So just be nice to people. Like Twitter, real
Yeah.
life. I say this all the time. Like the holidays stress people out, and it's like your ungrateful family makes you miserable. Take out your shit on them and not the strangers that you meet. Keep the violence in the home where it belongs.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
Where it belongs.
I mean, if your kids make you miserable, tell them. Like
I
you're
knew what he was
miserable.
saying.
Oh my god.
I come to Twitter for positivity. Like honestly, that's all I come for. Like at times I do get lost up in it, and like Ryan knows, like I just find myself scrolling through it all day long, and I'm like, well, shit, I should probably do something, stop tweeting my life away. But like, I'm like I said, I'm a very introverted person. So when I left high school, lost all those friends, lost being a team, and then you get to college, and now I'm back in Massachusetts, and all my friends are all over the country.
Yeah.
So I've got my friends from high school here that like they've all stayed together, but I was gone for 3 years. So I come back, I don't have any friends, and so I came to Twitter, and after a while, it was just like legitimate friends all over the world, and that was the coolest part was traveling out to Colorado, to Chicago, to Arizona, and everywhere I went, there's somebody that I could meet up with there. There's somebody that could give me some sort of advice where I should go. What I should do, and I love that about hobby Twitter.
Yeah, Harris, I consider you a legit friend, dude. Like, I met you through Twitter.
Me too.
Coolest thing.
I mean, yeah, me too. It's hard to tell
thing.
people. It's really hard to tell people how you met. It's like how did you first start dating? Tinder. Like you get it's the same kind of like stereotype around it. It's like, yeah, I have Twitter friends, but like these Twitter friends are real and they're fucking dope. Like,
yeah,
these are real people.
Yeah, that's what people don't get. They just think it's like nerdy or weird. Like I met my wife on OkCupid 2010, so 12 years ago. Yeah, we're together still. Twitter friends are more important to me than my real life friends. They were high school friends or just post high school. They worked with my dad and then circle of friends. I've got like 4 texts from them in like the last 7 months, not even birthday. Like my birthday was in September. No happy birthday, but happy Thanksgiving, happy Merry Christmas. I'm going to jail, and that's it. You know what I mean? And it's like
I'm having a kid. I'm getting engaged.
Not even no, they're not. They're single. They're forever single dudes. So it's just kind of like they like kicked me out of the club because I got married and moved away or something. So
good, you got a life.
He met his wife Facebook stalking and messaging. Don't stalk people, okay? So that's another hard thing. Okay, you guys are young.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to shoot your shot, but when is it appropriate and when is it just being a jackass to shoot your shot?
So you're probably talking to 2 guys who have never done anything like that.
You guys are gentlemen.
Yeah, I am. I know Harris is a gentleman too, but maybe like so.
And for a different reason. Yeah.
Here.
Because so let me set this background while you think. I did not have any female friends really. I had a couple in high school, but none after that. And it was just a dude life. And then I was kind of just like mistreated by gals, like they never took me seriously as like a dating partner. So I had a bit of anger and, I dated some. But now with like Twitter, and my wife, she's like, hey, women are awesome. And I was like, yeah, I kind of overlooked that because I was looking for something different. And I like, it was a flaw and I was an asshole. But now I have so many friends on Twitter that are women and you just like, you see these things and you're like, God, that's so gross. Like never shoot your shot if that's how you're going to shoot your shot. You know what I mean? Like you might like this person, but like, don't do it that way. And
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of close friends who are girls. My best friend is actually a girl. So
Harris, you're a girl?
But I have like a genuine.
This isn't going live, is it?
So I have a genuine respect towards women, I think, in general. But I think, everyone's got a right to shoot their shot. Like, hey, you're cute. Hey, like, especially if you know the person. But after once, if it's yes, great. If it's a no, okay, you're done.
Yes.
Like, leave it. Leave the person alone. This is for in real life too. Just like, don't. I think this is the way I think to live life. I think if you feel
if you have to think about it, don't do it.
Yes.
Right. I think if you feel a certain way about someone, especially a deep feeling, I think they deserve to know. I think you deserve to let them know for yourself. But after that, that's it. Like, there's only so much you can do after that point. The ball's going to be in their court. If they want something with you or not, then that's subject to change based on them and nothing you can do. So that's just what I think. I think it's harder said than done because, you could feel a way about someone and be like, I got to have them. Like, I can't believe they don't feel the same way I do. I have to keep going for it. And that's where it turns into something obsessive, where it might be like, you might actually have like some type of OCD and it might not actually be that. So relationships are tough. Things like that, especially online, like there's nothing natural about dating anymore. Like,
I sorry to take over, but like you're making the exact point that I would want to bring up is that I had been with my girlfriend since we were 16 years old. Like, we were 7 years together. Didn't know anything else. We had like broken up. We had our breaks here and there. But nothing, like, we always kept coming back to each other because we lived like 10 minutes from each other. But I always think to myself, like, if I didn't live in this age, in this social media, this technology age, all that, I would still be with this girl and I would have a really happy life because I wanted to get to that point in my relationship where it was more than like a text message. But like, it's hard in this age to be in a relationship and have that constant contact always available to you, because so many generations before us didn't go through all that. So now all that relationship advice from past generations, throw that out the window. We've got to learn on our own, and it sucks. I mean, I've been out of my relationship since I came back from Colorado, and I've been happier ever since. I mean, I have so many friends on Twitter that I can just go to and talk about my day. Like, I finally said enough is enough. I deserve better, and I'm here now. I'm happy. I'm happiest I've been in a long time, to be honest.
I think it's also difficult for your generation because, yes, the constant contact and things have changed, but also because you're better people for the most part. You're more respectful of other people, gender, pronouns, race, religions.
We're accepting.
Yeah.
Accepting who people are.
Yeah. Not everyone, of course, but more so than the older generations. And, and that kind of limits you in dating, like, give me like, hey, baby, what's up? It's because that's just gross.
Yeah, it's different. Like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know any of that. I went to college and I had a girlfriend for 3 years. Like, I never had a desire to see anybody else. I love this girl. Like,
no, that's
so I'm the wrong person to ask, but like, I can give some really good relationship advice because I've been through it. Like, I've been through it and I've got through it. That's the toughest part, is getting through it.
Yeah. I had a hard time too. Like, I struggled until I did like online dating, and then you're like, I am actually meeting someone who wants to meet someone. So we're on the same page. At least that's a start, instead of just seeing a random girl and be like, hey, you want to hang out?
Yeah, it's like you don't even
waiting for a friend of a friend to show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough to approach them at that point. It's like, oh, do they have a boyfriend? Do they not? Am I weird if I do that?
I always think of that. It's like, I don't even, that'll be my excuse. Like, no, they probably have a boyfriend. Like,
of course they have a boyfriend.
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly. If they don't have a boyfriend, something's wrong with them, and why would I want?
Why? Well, what's the problem?
Yeah, same goes that way. Like, oh, he's single. There's a reason. No,
that's us.
Yeah, that was me for the longest time, man. Like I said, 2010, I met my wife, and it's just been different. I'm pulling for you guys because, we touched over briefly. You guys both had some, breakups and some stuff going on. And, I just wanted to remind you guys, like, you guys are awesome, man. Like, keep doing your thing.
We love you, Tom.
And don't worry about that as much. Just worry about, like, hey, man, this is my life. This is what I need to do to be happy. And then once you're happy, like with everything, then people will notice that. And then that's when, you get the people coming to you. It's like,
that's where I've got to. That's what I tell Ryan is like, that's the hardest part is getting through it to understand that you deserve better. And it's your life. You need to surround it with people that want to love you and want to give you the time of day. Because if they don't, frankly, it's a waste of time. I mean, your life is too short to do that.
Yeah. There was, I don't know if you guys follow her, Anna Diaz. It's I Crush Goals.
I think I know who she is. I'm not sure if I follow her though.
She's a Hispanic lady that's very hilarious. She's a Yankees fan, a collector, but she's just like hilarious. She posted something, and it's just one of the few times I'm going to say the F word again. It said, you need a fuck yes relationship. If everything about the relationship is not fuck yes,
I saw that too.
Then it's a hell no. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not entirely true. But more often than not, it should be a F yeah, man. Like, I wake up, do I want to see my wife? F yeah. Do I want to give her a hug? F yeah. Do I, am I going to get mad at her
for
leaving the cap off the toothpaste? No. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
That was me for a while. They're like, babe, just put it back on. And then 12 years later, I'm like, quietly shut it.
I don't want to hear it.
The thing about our generation is we're more respectful, like you said, I think, but we're also we're very immature. Like,
yes. Yeah.
We're extremely immature. Like,
I have a switch. I turn it on and off very easily.
Right.
Yes.
I think sometimes we think we're much more mature than we are. Like, when you go through something and you can reflect, you're like, oh, that wasn't the most mature thing that I did. I thought at the time it was, or I didn't think about it, and that's what made it immature. So I think, I'm at least at a point in my life right now where I'm kind of just rediscovering my identity and who I am. Because, when you're in a relationship for a while and you've been through
your identity goes and you become
your identity can become that person.
Yeah, especially when you're living together. Like I was never living with my girlfriend. Like you guys were up each other's ass every single day.
And the only thing I'm going to say is that me and this girl, we're on good terms and we're getting along, and that's really all I could ever ask for. She's a great person.
I didn't want to dig too much into it, but just the relationship stuff was kind of there. But let's be honest. My generation, your generation, none of us are lying about our age to go get shot at by Nazis and smoke cigarettes, drink, and have sex with prostitutes, man. Like, the different people. So I am immature. I'm a late bloomer. But, there's not always time. But if you're lucky, there's time to figure yourself out. You know what I mean? So I was just reminded, we had our friend
with his
wife, so that was kind of depressing.
It could seem like the world's falling down, but we're so young.
Yes.
So young.
My favorite quote that someone told me, and I say this to everybody, is, two quotes. One of them is, people say, time can heal all wounds, That's not true in my opinion. I think things have to happen within time to change those wounds. Like, something has to happen within time, because you can just be sitting around and nothing's going to change. Like, at one point you got to get up and exist, And then there's the other one where people are like, you've changed. We're supposed to change.
Yes. If you don't evolve, you die. And we're not talking about growing defensive spines or spitting poison. It's just you need to adapt to your situation, and if you don't, then you are going to be left behind and you're not going to go forward. So
people change because they're supposed to. That's the way we are. Like, can you look at yourself 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago and say I'm the same person I was then, I can tell you sure as hell I'm not.
Nope.
I could tell you sure as hell because of that 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, I'm not going to be the same person I am now either. So I think if you look at things, someone told me to look at my life in perspective the other day. They're like, and a good thing about me is the advice I get from either like, a therapist or my friends, I can use this in my job with kids.
Yeah.
So someone asked me, Ryan, you're 23. What was your life like 7 years ago? How old were you 7 years ago? I said I was 16. They're like, are you a different person now than you were 6 years ago? And I said, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, well, in 7 years, you're going to be 30. Think about who you're going to be then. I'm like, oh shit. Like, So that kind of put things into perspective. Like, it feels like it's been forever since I was 16. Like, but also it feels like it was yesterday. So I don't know. I think we're in a unique time everyone is who has an opportunity ahead of them to find out who they are and keep changing, keep evolving. Like, like you are who you want yourself to be. Like, I think I tweeted something the other day that was like, what was it? Tom, I think you retweeted it actually.
If I see anything you guys tweet, I retweet it.
I know. I've noticed. It was
I
something.
just love you guys. I have friends that I just do that for, but I'm going to just step in. Yeah. As you get older, time goes faster and you'll be however old you are. And you'll look back and be like, man, I could smell this party I went to when I was 18. It feels like yesterday, but it wasn't. And just to let you know on my personal experience, because I'm like old enough to be your guys' dad, 30 was a real weird and hard birthday. I had lost my brother that year, so that might have played into it. But 30 was the first time it was like, I am old. Like at 18, 30 was a million miles away, and that was adults. So that was a hard birthday. But when I turned 40, great. It was nothing. It was like I'm already this adult and nothing has changed. Like 40 is nothing. So just as you guys, you guys are still young in your 20s, but I want you guys not to fear that 30 because it doesn't mean anything. And it was a weird time for me. And I'm just saying this because you brought it up, 7 years from 30, like 16. Just don't. It's just a number, man. It's how you feel and how healthy you are, really. And if you have a good mindset about everything, your age doesn't mean anything. Maybe don't date 22-year-olds when you're 43, but
at least they're 22.
That's always been my lowest. My wife was 22 and I was 32. And the gal I was dating before that was 22 and I was 29. So I lived in a college. It was a small college town. So it was like they come to college and then they leave. So it was like that was kind of it. If you didn't catch them,
you trapped one. Nice.
Yeah. Well, actually, I met her online, so I actually moved up here. But yeah, it was the same thing. She was a student, and yeah. So, but what was your quote? Did you find it, Ryan?
Yeah, it was. Oh shit! I just.
He's like, I'm gonna memorize it so I look smart. Nope, let me read it.
It was. About being too late, it's people say all the time, like, oh, it's too late to fix this, or it's too late, to mend things. I think as people, something that like, I think there's like two different types of people in this world, right? I think one type of person is someone who, I don't know where I'm going with that. So let me just throw that out. But being too late is a mindset. I don't think that's something. I think obviously there are their own circumstances where where things just can't change because of the time or because of whatever. But I think if you want something to work or you want something to happen, there's no such thing as too late. Like, too late is a mindset. Nothing has to happen in nature for it to be too late. Like, that's completely up to you. Like, if you want something, for instance, for anyone who is in a relationship and it's failing and someone who says it's too late to fix this, if the person wants it to fix it, it's not too late. It's too late for them. It's, it could have, like, that's just how I feel about that phrase too. So the things about being too late, changing, and things happening within time, those are like my three biggest things.
The old saying is you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And And that's not true at all because Olive is 7, and I just taught her how to boop her nose to my finger to get treats. So, you old dogs, you can change. You can fix up an old car. You can. It's never too late to do anything.
Tom, did you think that like 20 years ago you'd be sitting here right now on a video call with 2 people across the country from you?
20 years ago, well,
Maybe.
2001.
I don't know what it was like.
2001 was the worst year of my life.
I was
Dale
the worst year of a
Earnhardt
lot of
died.
people's lives.
Then we had
after that.
9/11, and then my cousin Charlie died. I was 23. I was your age, and he was 22. We were really close. So no, I did not think I would be doing this.
You learned a new trick, old dog.
Exactly. I was going to go into computer science to be like a network IT guy in like the late 90s. And he was going to go to school for drafting. And we were going to be like roommates and go to like a technical college. He was going to draft and I was going to do that. But that fell through. And then, he died. And it was just kind of like craziness. But yeah, go back to school, go to that IT class and do something besides, be a manager at a grocery store. Because, yeah, that's hard work. And it's hard work no one should be doing the way that grocery stores are run now. You know what I mean? Like, I hated it. I hated being a produce
I see so many
director.
people breaking their backs for their company, and their company doesn't give a shit about them. Like that was working for Polar was the first time that I worked for a company, and like I understood that.
Yeah. I had a hand accident and tore like a tendon here and had to get it surgically repaired. And they were just basically like, we don't care. When can you work? And I was like, I can't. Well, then we don't need you. And it's just like the worst feeling once you realize like I destroyed my body for a company that does not care about me at all. So like find something. And that's why I'm doing this, to help fight my depression, to get to know my buddies. Harris, you're pretty much exactly how I pictured, just like an awesome dude like that. Ryan, I've never seen your face really, so I didn't know what to expect. And you're just like this super handsome, sexy, quiet, thoughtful, perfect dude that it's just like refreshing. And like Tommy, TV, I didn't know him that well. And, he kind of had like a goofy California like vibe to him. But then when he talked about like how he collected, he's like a very old soul. And like, I have my PC, I'm going to put them in binders. I'm not going to grade or chase or, so it's never assume like, people, even if you know people, because everyone's surprising, and I'm surprised by both of you guys. Like I loved you both and I care about you both before. And we, talked a lot and we have fun, but just doing this, I get to see different parts of you guys, and it's just so much nice. And that's why I love doing this, and I recommend that people do this. Make changes that'll make you happy. And this, I'm sure people do see me smile and laugh and like, oh yeah, he's having a lot of fun. I don't think they know how much fun and joy this really does bring me. So I'm not trying to wrap anything up, but I just like every episode I have to reinforce that to people. Like, this is why we do this, because you know what? Harris is an amazing person, and maybe people don't know him, who he really is. Ryan is probably even more of a secret than, Harris is. You guys definitely, are incredible people in the hobby, and for sure people need to know more about you. So I love these people, and I'm showing you guys off. Like, this is not about Tom and his had. This is like Tom saying, I am vouching for these people because they're amazing. And this is why you're amazing, because you're telling your story and you're talking. So
thanks so much, man. That was like, wow. That was like amazingly said. We think you're awesome too. You're probably the brightest spot of the entire hobby right now. Like, I'm not kidding. Like I think your tweets are the best thing. And like, I was so excited to come on here today. Like,
Yes, you kept messaging me like 8 o'clock in the morning. Can I have the link to the show yet? Like, no, man. Like, I ain't even on yet. Like, Tom,
I was ready to go. I was ready to
5 minutes before the show, if I'm lucky, and then I'll send out a link with 30 seconds and be like, "Hey, Ryan, what do you want to not talk about?" Okay, we're live. But no, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Like,
No.
tell me how great I am, because I can't tell myself that. So when others say it, it actually means very, very,
Well,
very much.
you are
You
great.
should.
You have impacted the hobby in so many ways. Everyone's got their little inside jokes with you.
Usually
You
about
connect with people like who have 10 followers, and you connect with people with like Ryan's cards who have like 16,000 followers.
yeah.
So like it's like everybody, you know.
You're very neutral. You're Switzerland.
Yeah.
Trying to be, yeah.
That's where I try to be at. I try to be right in the middle. Like I have my problems with card purchaser. I hope you're not watching this, but like I stay out of conflict. I don't like conflict whatsoever.
I don't either, but sometimes you have to stand up. Like I had like the other night I tweeted the Jewish people thing, you know, like I love Jewish people. Don't spread hate to me. And it was about a Beavis and Butthead tweet. Mike Judge is like, I'm bringing Beavis and Butthead back. Here's some drawings. And I just retweeted it. And someone was like, hey, I hope it's like season 1 and season 2 before the crazy Zionist Jews took over and made changes. And the networks are run by the Jews. So it's probably going to be awful. And it's just like, where does that come from, man? Like, why is that in someone's heart to say, like, I can't enjoy something because a group of people is going to destroy it?
There's
you know
so
what I
much
mean?
hate
Like,
and ignorance in this world. It's ridiculous. Like, there's a guy who's defending Myers Leonard for, you know.
Myers Leonard.
Do you remember the guy on hobby Twitter who was
who's he again?
I forget. Myers Leonard was a player on the Miami Heat. He said like the K word in like a live stream.
Oh, yes.
Everyone freaked out at him except for this one guy who was like defending him. He was like one of the Proud Boys, and it was like, what? Like, there's got to be some level of hate in people to be racist, to be homophobic. It's just like it doesn't make sense. Yeah, what this guy just said. Tom is that dude, just a friendly, all around great guy who treats everyone. That's who you are. Like. That's why everyone likes you. That's why, you know, other than the people who hate and say you're clout chasing, like you haven't made one enemy. You know, like, I don't. That's just my take. We don't have to talk about how hateful people are anymore. We can go back to the nice stuff.
People want to hate. That's the thing. And so instead of being racist, like I'm not going to hate you because you're black. I'm going to hate you because you like Xbox. I'm going to hate you because you drink Coke. I'm going to hate you because you vote Democrat. I'm going to hate you because you drive a Ford. So it's these little micro decisions people make that is like why social media is so awful, in my opinion. Yeah. You know, instead of being like, oh, you like games? What do you play? Oh, you play PlayStation? That's cool. I like Xbox and play on PC, but awesome. What do you like to play? No, it's like, oh, well, why aren't you a PC gamer? We're the true elite gamers. Everyone else is just, you know, like, no, man, just be excited that people are excited and do stuff. So yeah, let's switch it up to something fun. Ryan, it's your show. Harris is your guest. So you just, what's fun for you right now, man?
Honestly, so I like doing my job. Like some days I swear every day this week at my job, it's been something else crazy happening with some kid. It's been like the moon is at a weird phase or something. I have no idea.
And I just want to interrupt. Like I told you, I did the paperwork for, you know, therapists that were helping children. That's heartbreaking work. Mm-hmm. The kids are in therapy because they're getting beaten, because your parents are drug addicts and they're getting neglected, or they're being raped or something. Usually, and sometimes maybe it is like, oh, they have something just like they're not clicking, you know, like they haven't been explained in a way that they can understand how to do things. Very little is that. Mostly if a kid is in therapy, something very traumatic is happening. From my experience, from the cases we dealt with, it might be different for you, but just let people know like how it's like being like an EMT guy or a cop or a firefighter. You know, how many dead people do you want to see every day? How many messed up kids can you deal with? So you being able to do that shows me that you are like Teflon, man. You have some strength that like I'm 43-year-old and I would read a case file and cry, man. Like, and I'm not reading them. I'm just auditing them. And then you just see like suicide, rape, and you look up and it's like 6-year-old kid and you're like, what the man? Like, so sorry.
No. it does add a lot of perspective into life, the job. And I'm at the lowest end of the totem pole at my job and where I work. And I'm the most liked. So being a therapeutic mentor, I get to bring, and that's just part of my job. My other part is I get to work with an in-home therapist and with a family, so which is fun. But my main thing is I take kids out into the community and work on their applied behavior skills. And I'm the most liked part about the therapy process for these kids because like I get to go and have fun with them, but also teach them ways to, they don't know that it's therapy, but it is.
Yes.
And so a lot of the job is tricking kids. And it's funny to say that because that's what it is.
That's how teachers work.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like different stuff. You know, when you have a kid who's on the spectrum or something and one of your goals for them is to express emotional regulation. And so let's say you're at the park with them and you're going to stay there in the cold for 2 hours unless they say, I don't want to be here anymore because you want them to be able to self-advocate.
Yes.
Kid says, I'm bored. Can we leave? Throw a party that kid just said,
yeah,
I'm bored. Like that's an amazing progression. But it does get to a point where you do go to bed at night sometimes thinking about what these kids go through and you're like, damn, like, yeah, I might be going through something right now, and my life might have been fucked up when I was 11 or 12, but I am where I am right now. And goddamn, some of these kids need all the love in the world. You know, some of the kids who are the most angry, or people in general, the people who show the most anger, the most hate, the most whatever, the people who need the love the most show it the least. And that's kind of how in this job you have to treat it. Like just even being someone who shows up at these kids' doors and is just a consistent, especially as a male, like my boss has told me, like finding a male therapeutic mentor in this field is like a unicorn. She said, Ryan,
yeah,
it's hard.
Difficult.
It's hard. I tried.
You're a unicorn in this field because, you know, a lot of these kids don't have
usually what they fear is it's usually a dude, you know.
Yeah.
It's sometimes the mom, but it's usually an awful male presence in their life is what scarred them. And yeah, it makes it hard.
And like I had a dad the other day, you know, I see this kid and he was throwing this tantrum, you know, he was taking stuff out of a drawer and just throwing it all over the room. And, you know, he's someone who's very attached to his parents. He's younger and I've never seen him throw a tantrum before. And usually if that happens at my job, I would just leave and say it's not his day. But I wanted to see how he processed through his anger. And he has a lot of stuff understanding his trust for people and his trust for others, especially me. Like I'm a new male figure in his life for the past few months. In the room, I inserted myself right in the middle of the stuff he was throwing. It wasn't anything bad like knives or forks. It was just like playing cards and stuff you'd find in a drunk drawer, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I inserted myself right there and he wouldn't throw anything at me. And, you know, it's been hard to take him out into the community because he's just so attached to his parents. He's had a lot of trauma. And his dad told me at the end, he goes, he might not realize this yet. And we're going to try and get him to, but like you being here and him throwing that tantrum with you there shows how comfortable he actually is with you here. Mm-hmm. So it's stuff like that. So to get to your question, that's been fun for me. The paperwork is never fun, but part of the job is extremely fun. Doing these threads on Twitter every day has been extremely fun.
I saw that you started that up, and they've been very, I love it. You know, that's the. If you're
on Twitter, I didn't see today's yet.
It was
autograph.
It was just like post the autograph that you like the most. I posted my Xander Bogaerts first Bowman Chrome, the very elementary looking one. I just love it.
I can't wait to get that card.
So it's I got that one for like $100 or something. It was like a steal, complete steal. But anyways, I
very
enjoyed doing
work, but I could not do your job, man. Like the minute someone's like, this kid was abused, I'm like,
I want to kill the dad.
I'm gonna kill someone and it's gonna be bad. So yeah.
It has taught me a lot about, like, you know, then you can give someone all the help they want, it might not work. You know, like I've had to close with clients before and I've done my best and it doesn't work, and you kind of just got to pick up the bag and move on to the next one, to the next kid who needs the help. And that's been big for me in terms of like, I'm someone who struggles with transitions, and I have my whole life, and transitioning from one kid to another, and kids who have one issues and immediately seeing a kid who has a different issue and maybe having to switch, that has been big for me. So it's helped me in ways I can't understand unless I'm processing it right now with you. So
Yeah. No,
it's
makes
something,
sense.
yeah.
Harris, you said you were a substitute teacher. What was that about?
I was. I was. I mean, my parents have been teachers all my life. And my dad's a high school English teacher. Um, but my first job was with the public school district, Tingsboro, town over, because that's where my dad worked, and I've always had a summer job there if I wanted it, like getting the schools ready and all that, cleaning and all sorts of stuff. But then when I came back after or during COVID during 2020, my dad was like, "Do you want a job?" And they're looking for long-term substitute teachers. And at that moment, at the very moment, I was like, I don't know. But then he told me I'm getting $200 a day to do it, and I was like, okay, we'll do this. And what I learned so many things. I mean, that job set my whole life path back like 10 years, because I finally realized how much work kids actually are. Like, I am not ready for that at all, and I don't want that responsibility. It was fun. It was fun to be the fun uncle with all the students. I'm the substitute
Yeah.
teacher. I could be
Yeah.
the cool one. And they're all like 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Like, I coached the baseball team there last spring, and that was a lot of fun. But it was so challenging because it was 6th graders trying to play baseball, and they're only there because their parents told them to. Like, it's hard, and trying to connect with these kids was some of the most like gratifying parts of that job. But unfortunately, there was a kid. He went to Griddle Tech, Ryan. So he went to the Voc, right down the street from you. He's a freshman, and he was found hanging in his room. And
I heard about this.
And my parents told me, and I'd heard the name, and he has a twin brother, dude. He has a twin brother that is now on his own. And when I finally found out who this kid was, I was like, he was an outsider. Like, he was the weird one in the classroom. Like, he would stay to himself, and it just like that broke my heart. Like, that is something that I hope I never have to go through again. And it's just the whole, what I'm trying to get at is the whole like real life issues that I've learned in the past year. And like, COVID sucked, yeah. But I've learned so much in the past like 18 months that like I never would have learned otherwise if I just stayed on the path that I was going on. So I mean, everything that's happened in my life has built up to this point, and I'm right here on Tom's show. I'm having a hell of a time, and it's good life, man. It's a good life.
See, and the Tom Show's not all about goofy and fun, because this conversation we're it's the seriousness, but it feels so good just to be able to
Yeah,
talk.
it does.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's so good, Harris, because you can have a dream and know what you want to do when you're a kid, but you start doing it and then you're like, I can't, man. Like, this is not for me. So what are your plans now?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
I mean,
Smoke weed,
I like
buy NFTs.
so I work 25 hours a week. I get paid for 40 hours a week. I can't complain. Like, I go to work, I do my job. When my job is done, I go home. Then I clock out at the end of my 8 hours. So like, I'm lifting a lot of water every day. I've lost a lot of weight since I got back, which I love because I gained weight over the last few years. But obviously I have 2 college degrees now. I don't really want to be slinging water for too long. But
you
I
know,
mean,
those
I've
breaks
just been
and those transitions going back,
right.
those are good for
My
you.
whole
You need those.
my whole resume is like all over the place, which is a good thing. I mean, I would so much rather have the experience with like the corporation that is Polar Beverages, and then the food cart vendor that I worked for in my junior year of high school. Like, there's so many different jobs that I have done, not inside my realm of education that like I've just rounded myself into somebody. I feel like I'm confident and I can go into a job even if I didn't get educated in that. Like even if it's not in sports, which like I don't know if I want to be in sports right now, but I have a minor in marketing and a master's in communication. So I can go anywhere with those. And who knows where I'll end up.
So really what it sounds like is you and D Moose and Bella Yash all need to get together because she wants to be a scout. He wants to run a front office for a team, and you've got the business and sports things. You guys should just buy a franchise. I don't know where you're going to get the funding from.
Where's Moose from?
Moose is Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah,
I talked to him the other day. He had a card for me that he DM'd me. He gave me a nice little deal.
Yeah, he's
a good kid.
15, and yeah, amazing. Bella,
oh my God, yeah, he's a great kid.
20, and she's amazing, you know. And I don't know if you watched her show, Ryan, but you know she's autistic and has some issues, so that might be something. You know.
I've talked to her.
Okay,
yeah, we all have. Yeah,
we killed your show. Yeah, she's great. She's great. She actually asked me when I was talking about my mentorship. She was like, "Oh, you could come and mentor me if you want." It doesn't really work that way, but I would have loved to. Like that would be fun.
She knows how hot you are, right? I'm sorry, Bella. I'm sorry, Ryan.
She wanted to meet up a couple times. I felt bad. It was like right before I was going out to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, by the way, I think I'm playing that Sunday afternoon. I'm going to the Causeway Card Show at the Garden. So anybody is watching, Causeway Card Show, TD Garden, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Dude, I'll go with you.
Wear your mask or whatever you need to do to not get the Omicron.
The vid.
The crow.
I got
boosted
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I've come into contact so many times and I've dodged it every time. Gotten lucky because I do not want to miss work right now.
I think on the federal level, you do get 80 hours of paid COVID leave. So if you do catch it, you can file for that and get, your 2 weeks. But it's only once per year. So if you get the Rona twice, you're kind of boned and you're going to have to use your personal time. Might just be Colorado law, but I think it might be federal law. So just in case you guys get host or something with it. Mm-hmm. So what else brings you joy right now? Brian, we'll start with you again.
Man, it's a tough question to ask right now.
Okay. Well,
what? The Boston Celtics.
Not the Boston Celtics.
Honestly, doing like the Twitter's been giving me joy. I think healthy joy too, like not crazy. Like as I was saying before with my threads, like that's just been so fun seeing what everyone collects and everything. Some people like DM me and say how much they look forward to it every day. Like it's just been awesome.
And that I want to interrupt you real quick because that brings me to like a mutual friend of ours, Tyler. He's doing
Tyler's the man.
He's such an awesome guy. He started doing his
TGN.
Yeah, TGN
cards. Yeah.
He started doing that sales thread on Tuesday nights where it's non-sports cards. And, he was struggling with that at first, like, I kind of want to do this. I don't know. And it's like, dude, just do it. And it's so much fun. And he's like, I have so much fun with that, and it's like your threads. If you are struggling with Twitter, just do something like that, like here's my favorite card. What's yours? Or, hey, show me something blue or green or whatever color that you really like on a card. Here's mine. And that's like the healthiest way to get engagement. And I don't mean like clicks and likes, that kind of engagement. I mean like quality interaction with friends. So like if you're feeling blue, those like threads are a good healthy way
and
to
I've
get
noticed
going.
That. And I've gotten everyone like of different statures on this app to comment on that. I've gotten Ryan to comment. I've gotten TJ. I've gotten you. I've gotten Harris. I've gotten everybody. I've gotten TGN cards. I've gotten LJ's custom cards to comment on one of them, which was awesome. I didn't expect that to happen. So it's just been really cool. Like, and when I was going through my shit, I had a bunch of people DM me saying like, just giving great advice. Like, I don't know, like this hobby is different. Like there's some bad people in the hobby, but the good people in the hobby are really good. Like, it's special. I'm really glad to be a part of it. I'm gonna have to get creative with the threads, but I'm excited to have to do that. Something else that's been giving me joy. I've just been watching a lot of Star Wars, a lot of Marvel stuff. When I have free time, hanging out with friends, just like, kind of just chill stuff.
Being a 20-year-old. Yeah.
I'm just being a chill 20-year-old. I can't wait to get out of this apartment and move into my next one with my friend.
So that's something exciting to look forward to. When does that happen?
That's next Wednesday.
Oh, I mean, that's soon. I thought you were like talking month or something.
No,
no.
A lot of the stuff's going to be moved out of here after this weekend. That's not mine, but next Wednesday I'll be moving into that place. So, it's something like I roomed with the kid who used to the bus collector. Do you remember him at all? He used to collect the sports busts. Well, he's not on the Twitter really anymore, but that was him. That's the kid.
Oh, okay.
He's
cool.
not on the Twitter.
Not on the Twitters.
He's here anymore, but I'm excited for that. I lived with him in college for 3 years, so I already know what he's like as a roommate. No surprises. So in a time of negativity, it's good to be able to look at things that you're excited about, even if they're small.
Yeah. I can tell you a funny story. My best friend, I used to live with my cousin who died that I mentioned earlier. His older brother was my best friend growing up, and they were like a year, 13 months apart. So, and I was between them. So, we were like, and my little brother, we were like the, four musketeers. But I lived with him, and we had a mutual friend who was really close with us. And he moved in with us because he, needed a place. So we had an extra room. But before we had cell phones, you just had the one phone, and we had one cordless phone, and we could never find it. And we kept it because it had a find button where you just hit the find button on the stand and it would ring for the cordless phone further out.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find it. I was like, I know our buddy has it in his room somewhere, and I was like, I told my cousin, like, okay, hit that button. I'm going to be in his room digging around. Sure enough, we found the phone, but we also found like 8 cans of tuna that were like mostly eaten, but each had spoons and forks under his bed. And I was just like, we got to get him out of here, man. Like, you can't be stealing the phone and also have 8 cans of tuna under your bed. And all of our
I forgot where we were going for a second. I was like, what is he talking about?
That's awesome.
So I'm just saying, like, you got to know who you're rooming with. It could be your best friend in the world. They could be a giant, lazy, nasty piece of crap.
That's what it's like, in relationships too. When you move in with someone, like I tell my friends, like, living with someone and being with someone are just 2 completely different things. And,
yeah.
Let's see.
I didn't know this chat was a thing until like maybe 30 minutes ago, and then I put it up, and now I see all you wonderful people talking.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. And then we got this one here, just chasing the graph. He's got a wrestling show. He interviews.
I like him.
I got him. Yep. He's a really good guy. You guys into wrestling much at all, or just?
I'm not at all, but respect to you if you do.
Sad to say, all my friends are like, "What? You didn't watch WWE? You didn't watch Raw growing up?" I'm like, I don't know what.
I didn't have a childhood.
Yeah, apparently I didn't either. Yeah.
No, it's fine. But yeah, that's his. I mean, he collects other stuff, of course, but that's who he is. He's such a nice
Everybody
guy.
enjoys something. Like
he sent me a few Griffey racks back in the day. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That you sold all of them because you don't own a single.
I traded them for stuff that I love.
That's fine.
So Harrison, what do you have on the horizon that you're looking forward to? Just
I found out Ozark season 3 comes out in 2 weeks.
That's pretty exciting.
I'm really hyped for that. Have either of you watched that?
Yeah, Harrison, want to watch it together, bro?
Oh my god! Wait, what? Ryan, you've seen the first 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it at my own pace, but we can connect about it. But I'm so excited. I come home from work and I just watch Netflix. I'll putter around with my cards. I'll go hang out with TJ. I'll play FIFA. I don't do much. I'm an only child. I've always been able to entertain myself.
Same with me. I'm not an only child. I had 2 older half brothers. I have 1 younger brother and a younger sister, so I'm like 1 of 5. But I've always been able to entertain myself, and it's a skill that is so important.
You can entertain yourself, and if you can make yourself laugh, like that's it. I don't care if nobody else thinks my joke's funny. At least I died laughing at it.
That's what
Like,
I say. I don't know how many times I've said that lately, and I know you guys know it's true for me. I will make myself laugh, and that's all I care.
Yeah. Who cares? Like it means you're happy. You're making yourself happy. That's all. That's all that matters.
Well, gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap it up. My wife's giving me the eye, and I got to take the dog out.
It's almost past my bedtime, dude.
Yeah, me too.
You guys,
10:30.
You guys have surprised me in such a way. Like Harris, so glad you could make it on this show.
Thank you, Tom.
It's been fun. And Ryan, thanks because Ryan was like, "Can I have him on?" I was like, "Yeah, man. Like I know who he is."
I was a little, to be honest, I was overwhelmed by the run times of everything. It's just like I have a hard time setting aside 2 hours of my life for anything. But like the fact that this has just flown by like that.
Yeah, it was
like,
so fun.
This is not something that's comfortable for me, and like the fact that it just flew by is incredible.
That's what's surprising to me, because you say you're such an introvert, but you seem like such an outgoing guy, and it's like, you've got 14 degrees and you were a teacher, and it's like you just see like, oh no, he's just like some stoner door dasher that's just bumming around doing cards. And no, get to know the guy.
There's a lot going on with me.
And then Ryan, you're just such a sexy man. But no, like thoughtful.
Am I gonna make the hobby hot list?
My hobby hat list would probably be everyone. So
I'm just messing around, man.
No.
That's made me laugh every time you said that.
You're not who I pictured at all, and it's weird how you picture people, but then you see them, you're like, that's not who I pictured. But now that I hear and I'm talking to you, and you're like thoughtful and all this, and it's like, now I know that about you. And it's such a surprise, because this is why I do the show. Just a quick wrap up. This is why I do the show, because I think I know people by talking to them on Twitter, but you don't. You got to talk to them. You got to pry some layers away. And we haven't gotten to the core of you guys yet, but we just got a little bit deeper. And man, it's been so wonderful. I'm so appreciative of you guys.
I can't wait to come out.
I get serious when I take the costume off. So
we're appreciative.
You guys, it's such a great show. And Harris, you look at it like, oh, Tom talked for 3 hours with his buddy Gerald, or 2.5 hours with Bella. Mm-hmm. It's because it goes so fast when you are so excited to talk to your buddies. And we're not like grab a beer. I mean, we probably are now. Go grab a drink.
We would be. I think if we were close enough, we would be.
Yeah, but it's just that we're just shooting the shit. We don't know each other, but we have a chemistry, we have a connection. That's why we're friends in the first place. So, this has been so great. And Harris, you got to come back out. We'll make sure I hang out. Hopefully I'm not in my.
I'll come banging on your door. I will find your address. Come banging on your door.
Give it to you. That's honestly the best way to do it, because I am an introvert in most real life aspects.
I don't like going I don't go out of my way to hang out with people. Like Ryan, I feel bad. I just don't hang out with a lot of people. Like we've hung out a couple times and it's been fun. I just I do my own life, and we'll hang out when we hang out. But Brian's
I could always. I'm fine with coming to you. I don't care.
Well, Ryan, you come out here to Colorado, and
I would love to. Maybe we'll have to make the trip.
It's a good time.
Yeah, you guys are welcome out here. I do have a guest bed, and my wife says she's cool with some people staying. She'd be cool with you guys. Nothing crazy going on.
Troublemakers.
Yeah, troublemakers, and a child therapist, and a teacher with 19 degrees. See, I went to college for 1 semester, made the dean's list, and I was like, I'm out.
I'm good. I proved myself.
Drop the mic.
Yeah. All right. I love you guys. And of course, you guys are welcome back anytime you want to talk to me. If you guys have something you're excited about and want to share, absolutely let me know, because I want to share your happiness with you and with everyone else here. So I'll give you guys the last word, and then I'm going to play my music, and then you guys can just bounce on out.
All right, awesome.
So Ryan, last word.
Last word. I don't know. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. This was so much fun. I'd love to come back. You guys will be hearing from me on Twitter every day, so I'm looking forward to that. You two are literally my favorite people on the app, so thank you. It was a pleasure. It was just an ultimate pleasure. Thank you.
Harris, your last word.
Man, listen, all I gotta say is be nice to people. Treat other people how you would want to be treated, and we'll be friends. And that's how I live my life. That's how I surround myself, especially on Twitter, just with good people. And I appreciate you guys. I love you guys both.
Yep, love you guys. I'm gonna play my music, and you can just quit on out whenever you're. Thanks again. Love you guys. I'll see you on Twitter.
Thank you.